How can you use your brain to manifest? Neuroscience has a lot to say about that, and I have a lot of experience in it as well. So let's examine that. I'm Roach, Mark Roach. I'm here to help you get what you want, what you need, to understand the difference. Ultimately, hoping that we can overcome our traumas and mature emotionally and let go of these biases that are driving people apart and creating disharmony. So there's a neurosurgeon turned professor that has spoken and even written some books on how to use your brain for manifestation. He has a few points that I'm going to repeat here. He says the universe is indifferent. The universe is indifferent to individual existence. True fulfillment only comes from within, not from external achievements like wealth or position. Number 2, childhood background. The speaker discusses a challenging childhood, highlighting adverse experiences such as having an alcoholic father and a mentally ill mother, which can impact future success. And 3, the impact of mindfulness. You know, a turning point in this particular neuroscience turned professor's life was learning mindful techniques in a magic shop. And it wasn't a real magic shop that did the teaching. It was actually, I think it was the owner's mother that took this little boy under her wing and helped him become more aware and helped him learn that he was really under constant tension and having a lot of self-negative talk that was leading to, after they got rid of this, it led to a more positive outlook. So this boy grew up and became a doctor and then later a professor after he lost a fortune and had to reflect back on the failures of his pursuit of profession and worldly success, and has written this book. So I really identified with much of what he shared. But let me tell you about his perspective as a neuroscientist, which is the 4th point here, is that there is a neuroscience that he's speaking about manifestation. And he says that through mental training, individuals can learn to manifest their desires. This involves understanding and changing negative beliefs and adopting positive affirmations. Now, he has a lot to say, as do I, about understanding what your desires, whether there are needs or just wants. Like, I want a better car than I have, but I've got a good one that works fine. The difference between those two, is it worth it? Well, that's what we're examining here. I don't have the answers for that, and I don't think this doctor turned professor, who may even know the Dalai Lama for all I know, he may be able to be confident in some answer about that. But I'm here to tell you, the more self-examination that you do on yourself, you're really the only one that can say whether it's worth it or not. But the 5th point that he makes is a good one. It's about compassion and connection. Finding meaning and purpose through caring for others is a lesson that he learned, and that I've also learned early on, that it's essential for real happiness, and building connections and being of service can lead to personal fulfillment. And I think this is a super important point to keep in the back of your mind, that we have an inherent negative bias. Our brains tend to focus on negatives due to evolutionary reasons that make it essential to practice positivity intentionally. So your deliberate intentions about being positive can ultimately combat some of that underlying negativity that creeps in on all of us. And then there's an important aspect of community. In modern society, many of us lack a supportive network. So that leads to increased anxiety and stress. Building community is crucial for our well-being. He talks about visualization techniques. And I did these in the 70s with my father, even using hypnosis to excel in athletics. And we used them in a number of things in school and in performance to overcome, maybe a fear of public speaking. But the effective visualization involves engaging all of your senses and repeatedly practicing this to strengthen the neural pathways related to positive outcomes and goals. In acting schools, they teach a lot about visualizing and using your imagination and the power of your beliefs and committing to a particular role or a character or a circumstance, regardless of what the outcome might be. But setting your intention on that character or if your character wants something and that drives that character forward, maybe that outcome is something that is worth examining in your visualization. So number 9 is the generosity of spirit. What happens to altruism? Do anyone ever use that word today? Altruism? Small acts of kindness can have a significant impact on the lives of others, emphasizing the importance of compassion and responsiveness. I remember in a Bible study years ago about how it was suggested that people pray for others, but they do it in private and not to be seen of others or recognized for doing it in private. And I attended a men's group recently where people were talking about how when they kept some of those private spiritual practices to themselves, rather than telling everyone about them, it actually created a deeper spiritual experience, and they even felt like it was more effective. So this particular neuroscientist had invested a lot of money in the tech boom, I think 30 years ago, and he ended up losing all of his investment, which created a disaster in his life. And in recovering from that, he developed quite a critique of materialism. And so he critiques the capitalist mindset, which is focused on wealth accumulation, argues that true happiness comes from inner peace and meaningful connections, not material possessions. And I believe in balance. I think the two can go hand in hand. I do believe that what you focus on, you get more of. And if it's money, then maybe that's what you'll find, comes your way. But if it is on inner matters and the way that you conduct yourself in the relationships, it'd be a wonderful alignment for those to coincide. And that's why I speak about aligning your needs and wants with community and relationships, because I think it is possible for us to have both. But I do think the 11th point here that I took away was that it's recommended to have a daily routine that involves gratitude, compassion, mindfulness, that fosters a positive mindset to enhance your overall well-being. So I think this professor's journey reflects a deep understanding of how our childhood experiences shape our lives. It mirrors mine, and it also points out the power of mindfulness to overcome negativity and the importance of community and compassion in finding true happiness. By practicing mindfulness and being intentional about our thoughts and actions, we can manifest a more fulfilling life. I do believe that there is more need for us to make spiritual commitments to each other and to recognize each other's spiritual needs and to talk about it and create a platform that we do connect with each other on. And that can take a number of forms. And I think it also involves creating a new language and a new platform for us to feel safe in connecting with others. Because given that we've been here as long as we have on this earth, and to see someone that actually this fellow commands a high position at a major university on the West Coast and has access to a lot of resources, including a lot of data and social science insights. And for these claims to be true, it really points out a huge deficit in our society of disconnected communities and of failures of our social structure, which may include some institutions like religious churches, as well as governments and nonprofits, for not being cohesive and helping really build a solid foundation for our safety and security in the now, but as well as something that we can be confident in for the future. I'm Roach, Mark Roach. All the best.